Hola a todos, aquí Tori22 380. Continuamos con los crímenes de ABC de Agatha Christie y estamos aquí con Poirot. Estamos en Bexhill y bueno, tenemos aquí la imagen de la víctima que nos encontramos muerta en la playa. Vamos a ver la víctima. Betty Barnard, camarera del Ginger Cat. Estamos en la casa y vamos a ver si está su hermana para poder hablar. ¿Y esto está movido?
They're all Miss Modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers.
Bueno. La hermana se ha marchado. ¿Dónde está? Se ha ido la hermana. Vamos fuera entonces.
It is now the right time.
Es verdad. En el capítulo anterior había un momento que decía que le gustaría escuchar un audio de un disco de la víctima o así, porque le gustaba cantar. Entonces, vamos a ver. ¿Ya estoy aquí?
Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding?
78T Betty. Empezamos ya con el acertijo. Es que esto va a ser complicado. Cuatro. Esto es 4. O sea. ¿Por qué me lo ponen tan complicado?
This looks like solfège. This looks like solfège.
No entiendo nada. 78T Betty. No parece un disco normal. Ya verás cómo esto me va a dar problemas. Algo raro. Manivela. Esto suena de.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
Este no se puede tocar. No, esto seguro sí. Vale. Era uno de estos. Esto es 4. Uno de estos es 4. Es 1 más 1 más 1, pero hay 3. Esto va a ser a suerte, ¿eh?
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
No se puede tocar. Ya ves. Esto va a ser la suerte, ¿eh? Vamos allá. toca nada. Esperamos aquí un ratito. ¿Ya? Vale. Supongo que habrá un clic o algo. Como no haya ni un clic, estamos servidos. Bueno. Seguimos probando. Me estoy desesperando. Yo creo que al final habrá que tocar algún botón y entonces la habremos cagado así. Vale, se ve que si le picas vuelve otra vez Si yo pico encima, me pone a como estaba. Ahora.
I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered.
Ahora. Vale, la combinación es esta. Una de esta, dos. En esto soy muy malo, perdonadme. He tenido que ir a la fuerza bruta, como se hacía antiguamente en estos juegos. Si esto era 78... ¿T? No, 78.
I just have to put the record on the gramophone and start it.
¿Por qué se complican tanto para poner un disco?
This looks like solfège. There is probably a link with what I saw in the drawer.
Es verdad que también había una manivela. ¿Dónde se pone la manivela?
It looks like something goes in here.
Aquí. ¿Se ve todo? Ahora.
Oh, Donald. We're in the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should rest your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Donald.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true. Did she have any problem with her throat?
Yes, she had to be careful with her voice. Of course, she didn't follow the doctor's advice. If Don didn't insist, she... Well, it's too late for all that now.
Vale.
It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone.
Será la hermana. Betty y Donald. Sin alianza. Ojos llorosos.
She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner?
Una pregunta disponible. ¿Qué tenía pensado hacer Betty aquella noche? Tengo que pensarlo ahora. No, me faltan cosas todavía por averiguar.
They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous. Oh, a true gentleman.
I hear a note of envy in your voice.
You must have heard wrong.
Donald appeared to be very much in love with your sister.
Yes, he was mad about her.
Mad, you say? Being madly in love can often be destructive, and Mr. Fraser was known for being jealous, I believe.
No more than average. Men are always slightly possessive, especially when they are with a pretty woman.
¿Usarla de mentir? ¿Por qué? Ahora no estoy seguro. Voy a pedir que colabore.
I am not your enemy, Mademoiselle Barnard.
And you are not my friend either, Mr. Poirot, sir.
Yes, but your lies are not helping Mr. Fraser, or you for that matter. This case is much more complex than you think. It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man, slightly reserved too, and as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago, but they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
Vamos, que era muy, muy celoso.
So you were afraid that he would become our main suspect. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Exactly. Had you not told me about the case, I would never have dared to tell you about this little matter. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Barnard. Thank you for your help.
Vale.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your parents.
Of course, Mr. Poirot.
Vale, pues vamos a
And
hablar
don't
con
be too
Donald.
hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so.
Vamos a hablar con Donald.
Let us now try
el
and
novio.
get our brain cells to work.
Dijo que algún día de estos quizás, pero no creo que lo haya matado. ¿Qué tenía pensado hacer Betty aquella noche? Cosas del cine. No sé si eran... Esto es de la noche anterior. Pensaba hacer esto. Aquí sí que ya no lo tengo tan claro. Tiene que ser una de estas 4. O sea, otra. Este tenía seguramente una cita con alguien aquella noche. Betty Barnard. Tiene que estar aquí. Aquí. Estas 3. Betty mintió a Donald porque tenía una cita con otro hombre. ¿Conocía a Betty sobre eso? Yo creo que esto. Un cliente vino solo a Ginger Cat y pidió un White Horse. Me atacó por detrás. Sedujo a Betty antes de llevarla a la playa, donde la atracó.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
¿Más? ¿Qué esconde el comportamiento de Megan Barnard? Yo creo que está... que le gusta el otro. Megan tiene debilidad por Donald. Esta y esta aquí. Megan Barnard tenía un móvil para asesinar a su hermana. Pues puede ser esta o esta. Supongo que será esta, ¿no? Que salía con otros hombres además de Buenas. Me ha gastado celosa de Betty. Vale, creo que podemos movernos ya. Vamos a buscar a Donna. Estaba en el Ginger Cat.
You've seen Fraser, Hastings. What is your feeling?
He's a big chap. Fragile isn't exactly the word that springs to mind. I talked to his landlady before seeing him. She went to bed at 11. Fraser wasn't home yet.
Bien. Betty Barnard said he's a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case.
¿Eso indica que tenemos que provocarlo? Aquí tenemos al tierra.
How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You Hercule Poirot. Mr. Hastings said you wanted to speak to me.
Yes. I know that it may not be the right time, but I would like to ask you a few questions.
Vamos a verle.
This man looks suspicious.
Whiskey White Horse, el mismo que habían tomado antes. Deja de moverte. Joder, tío. No mueves.
Leave me alone.
Ojeras. Ropa arrugada.
Donald Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone. Tell me that it's a mistake. That Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
Did you visit Betty yesterday afternoon?
No, I haven't seen Betty for 2 days. I was at the office yesterday afternoon.
Can you prove that?
Of course. But why this question? Betty died yesterday evening, didn't she?
Yesterday, a guest came to the Ginger Cat alone and ordered a White Horse whiskey, and by the look of it, you also appear to be fond of this brand.
Yes, it's a good whiskey and not cheap. I only drink it on special occasions. Or tragic ones.
I understand. Do you know what Betty's plans were yesterday evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
Su hermana está en Londres.
Yet, Megan only returned to Bexhill this morning, Mr. Fraser.
I didn't know.
Right. May I ask you what you were doing yesterday evening?
I spent the evening working.
Your colleagues can confirm this?
No, I often take work home with me.
Señala que no tiene portada.
Therefore, you have no alibi, Mr. Fraser.
That's right. But that doesn't make me a murderer, Mr. Poirot. I would like you to leave now, please.
No quería ser muy duro.
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot. I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, is all yours, Chief Inspector. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Donna tenía un motivo para asesinar a Betty, que salía con mujeres, o que salía mucho. Que mucho y era un hombre violento. Los celos. Donna tiene una cortada, no tiene una cortada. ¿Tenía Donna un móvil para todos los asesinatos? Yo creo que estaba muy enamorado de Betty. Entonces cambiamos a esto. Tal vez Donna matara a Betty, pero no tenía ningún móvil para el asesinato de la señora Asia. Volver a la escena del crimen. Tenemos. Vamos a la escena del crimen.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked Jap to arrest him.
It is too soon. But I agree, without the letters announcing the crimes, Fraser would already be behind bars. Bon, I think we have enough elements. Let's reconstruct the events at the scene of the crime.
I can't imagine how the murderer wasn't seen, though. Surely she must have struggled.
Let us try and imagine the scene. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5.
Avanzan.
Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6.
Pues sí.
Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a code.
Avanza más.
They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
Vale, hemos hecho bien la reconstrucción. No era muy difícil esta reconstrucción, igual que la anterior. La de la Asher.
Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser. But by timing his crimes, the murderer is making sure he's accused. In a way, it is very generous of him.
Generous? The murderer seduced Betty in order to lure her to the beach and kill her.
Indeed, the young woman was certainly careless, but not stupid enough to follow a stranger.
What are you planning to do, Poirot?
Return to London, mon cher Hastings.
Bueno, esto es un hecho, volver a hacer el crimen. Tenemos que volver a Londres.
This is definitely where the photo I found in the hut was taken. Right, back to London. There is nothing more for us to do here.
Jap has decided to reveal details to the press. The alphabet murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling. Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard.
Es 30.
No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately.
Bueno, ganaste el trofeo mostacho. Iba a dejarlo, pero creo que vamos a llamar. Cuando lo vaya a buscar, me voy a acordar de que tengo que llamar al teléfono. Hay cosas para ver, ¿eh?
Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled on the beach. Killer struck at midnight.
Vamos a hacer una cosa. Antes de acabar el capítulo, vamos a...
Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled on the beach. Killer struck at midnight.
Vamos a revisar.
Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. The alphabet murderer is still on the run. Ever since the police found the connection between the Bexhill and Andover affairs, the inquiry has barely progressed. In this issue, we are publishing provocative letters sent by the killer to Hercule Poirot. Unfortunately, they have not yet helped to find him.
Vamos a mirar un poquito porque a lo mejor hay cosas para mirar. Este es el teléfono, no va a llamar. Aquí no hay nada. Aquí hay algo para ver. La guía de ABC.
Bexhill-on-Sea, Sussex, population 24,703.
Casting Hunting.
Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag.
Hay algo más por aquí. Pues no sé si tendremos que llamar desde fuera.
I lock my revolver in this drawer. I've not used it in a very long time.
Oh,
It is not the right time.
un momento. Hay que llamar, ¿no? Me parece que he visto el teléfono aquí.
Ah, some cool air.
Un poco de frescor.
Hello, chap. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when?
In Churston. Today.
Today? I'll inform the population immediately.
I'll check the train times. Call me back.
Preparar el viaje a Charleston.
It is not a good time. Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry! We have to get to Churston before the murder!
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay. I'll let you pack them.
All the same, it really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess.
Dentífrico mal cerrado. Botellas sin proteger. Calcetines desemparejados. Pijama mal doblado. Toalla.
Voila! It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning, after the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Very good question, Hastings. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two, although I have very little doubt about what we will find.
Vamos a comprobarlo ahora. Logro desbloqueado. Joder.
It is not a good time.
Pero hay que comparar las cartas.
It is not a good time. Poor Mr. Poirot. Not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps? Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time it is an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It is a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC.
No me deja hacer nada más. No, esta vez.
In his haste, Hastings tore the envelope. It is not the right time.
¿Me dejará ahora acercarme a la mesa? Ahora sí.
Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one. Let us examine this more closely.
Vale, tenemos las sis típicas.
Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects. Let us examine the characters in this word.
No, esta no.
Yes, this I is weird. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory.
A ver, tenemos la W, que se ve como muy floja.
The W is not printed properly. Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
¿Por qué no sabéis tan tarde el asesino? Un error de la dirección. ¿Habrá hecho aposta?
The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard.
Pero ya me has escrito 3 veces. O sea, que no lo veo
Poirot,
normal.
the telephone. It must be Jap.
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train.
Especialista de la garganta. En el primero tenía un titosivo y el segundo era cantante. En Charleston. Carmichael Clark. Con la C.
The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friends. I will come soon.
Vale, pues vamos a dejar el capítulo. Espero de que os haya gustado el capítulo. Un placer estar con todos vosotros, Escritor y 22 de los 80. Nos veremos muy pronto. Hasta luego, gente. Chao.